Good afternoon and welcome. It's Bettina Carey here, and I'm with the group called We Empower You and the WeEmpowerYourLife.com website. And I'm your host today, and I'm so excited to be bringing back to speak with you on a really important topic, which is your voice is your moneymaker. And I've got two special guests here with me today, and we're going to get the party started with none other than my friend, somebody who I'm a very big fan of, and someone who's just been a wonderful, wonderful, gifted, talented speaker, author, coach out there. And this is Miss Nancy Juetten. And Nancy is known for guiding successful service professionals to book themselves on the right podcasts without hiring an expensive booking agency. Clients welcome more inbound client inquiries from Nancy, leads, and sales while elevating their own celebrity as a direct result of what she shares. And I've been the beneficiary of working with Nancy over the years, and pretty much when I apply what Nancy suggests and recommends, my income goes way up. So you're going to want to listen up to what Nancy has to say. Welcome, Nancy. It's so great to have you here today.
Thank you, Bettina. I'm honored to be here. And what a cool theme for your event. Voice is your moneymaker, because if ever there was a time to do that, it sure seems like now would be the time, don't you think? We're dealing with a pandemic, and the Delta variant has made it difficult for people to get in front of people nose to nose and eye to eye. Thank goodness that we have Zoom, that we can connect in this way. So I want to say hi to Amy and Susan and Rita and Art and Nigel and Lori and Aggie and Yolanda and Anthony and Barbara and Maria and anyone else who's here. Thank you for investing time to be part of today's event. I think that the amount of power we have to raise our voice and make our impact is as strong as we believe it to be. And one of the things I would like you to know about me is that as a professional speaker, like many professional speakers, I got benched when the shelter-in-place order was named last March. Are you a professional speaker who also got benched? Let me see some hands. See some hands. If you had a whole calendar full of bookings and all of a sudden nothing can be more disempowering than that. And yet, what could have been a disaster ended up becoming a wonderful opportunity to master a whole new set of skills, which is to learn how to be a podcast dream guest that top hosts can't wait to book. Because when you learn how to be a podcast dream guest that hosts can't wait to book, guess what? You get to speak up on the right stages to deliver your message, your personal story, wave the flag for the mission that you are fighting for, and also create inbound sales inquiries, leads, and sales for your business simply by showing up. What's beautiful about podcast guesting, excuse me, is that in a long form conversation you have with a gracious and generous host, you can cover a lot of ground about what you do, what problems you solve, what unique perspectives you have, what provocative points of view you want to bring, even the personal story that you want to inspire people by. And what's beautiful about this is when other people are listening, if they feel called to want to know you better, they come to a sales call pre-sold because they had the benefit of hearing you speak in conversation with someone who already had brilliant authority. A host of a show likely has embedded audiences of people that are already listening. And so when you get invited to be on their show, you get to borrow the authority from the host and let it be a halo around your head. And when you are asked invariably, Lori, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. What is the best next step our listeners can take in your direction? Lori can speak up and say something about her best-selling book about the samurai, right? She can say, well, what I'd really love for you to do is download the first chapter of this game-changing book for leaders that will change the conversation in your organization starting today. And if there's more you want to know, well, let's have a conversation. But by saying that, there may be people that are mowing the lawn and walking the dog and multitasking that may just stop what they're doing, and they will go to whateverit is.com to get in touch with Lori. My husband is a financial advisor, and in his work with high net worth individuals, even high net worth individuals are worried that they're not going to have enough money when they retire. It's their biggest fear. So when he's asked at the end of an interview, what should we do? He'll say, I'm so glad you asked. I'd love for you to go to DoNotOutliveyOurMoney.com to download my special report that will help you know how you can avoid that fate. Let me say it again, DoNotOutliveyOurMoney.com. What I'm demonstrating for you here is have a call to action that's singular and specific, that's easy to spell and say, where the listener could be driving or running or rollerblading. And when they come back from whatever else they're doing, they're going to remember DoNotOutliveyOurMoney.com. If you want to be a guest on a podcast, start with the end in mind, which is where do you want people to go or do as a direct result of having had the privilege to hear you share your message. The other thing I want you to think about is making sure that there's a good audience to message match, because speaking to everyone is not necessarily going to be as fruitful as talking to a specific audience of people that is a right match for what it is that you do. So that being the case, I'm curious. I'd love to hear from some of you who are here today. If you'd like to post in the chat, you can post your name and say, hi, I'm Aggie, and what I do is X. And I'm Yolanda, and this is what I do. And I'm Anthony, and this is what I do. Because what I want to know is, who do you do it for? Because when you say anybody with a pulse can benefit from my message, it's really hard to hit the target. But if you, I'm just going to pull this from air. If someone is a weight loss coach who helps midlife women release their muffin top and their Medipot within 6 weeks or less, I'm just pulling that from air. Oh, midlife women. I can easily find shows that are right for midlife women who are struggling with their weight. So if you have a Rolex watch, which is a luxury timepiece, it's really hard to sell a Rolex watch to a migrant farm worker. So one of the things you'll want to do is make sure that when you're looking at shows to guest on, that you choose the shows that are the right match for your message. Because let's face it, it takes time to be on an interview. And it takes time. If it's an audio interview, you're just showing up. But if it's a video interview, you could be worried about hair, makeup, background, audio, et cetera, et cetera. You don't want to spend an hour of your time talking into the ether and have the message fly out there and land on an audience that doesn't even care about what you're talking about. So I see someone's posting. Art says, I work with 50 plus people in transition who need to make a difference and make money. Okay. So 50 plus people in transition needing to make a difference and make money. Does it need to be legal? She says brightly. I'm Yoli, and what I do is facilitate people acquiring a piece of gold in America. I'm a real estate consultant, 37 years in the profession. Okay, I turn couples' stressful home transitions into peaceful new beginnings. So I'm going to start with Amy because this one's a little bit easier. I'm guessing that couples that are having home transitions that become peaceful new beginnings probably just recently bought or sold a home. So you might search for shows about real estate in your particular neighborhood, real estate trends in Wallingford, for example. But I want to give you all something really special and specific and useful right now, regardless of your niche. Did you know that on Facebook, there are podcast collaboration guest sites where you can create matches for yourself simply by joining the group? If you go to podcast guest collaboration on Facebook, it's free to join the group, and there are over 20,000 hosts and guests that are looking to make a match. If you join and start lurking and learning and watching, you will see pitching magic in action. Because what tends to happen is someone will say, I have a real estate show and I'm looking for guests who can talk about professional organizing, how to unpack successfully, and to do it without losing your mind. You'll see that and say, wow, that sounds like me. So then you're going to say, oh, that sounds like me. That's what most people want to do. But you know what the smart people do? They first go to check out the podcast and listen to it to make sure it's a show they would be proud to be on. And the second thing they do is notice whether or not there are 20 or more shows already in the can to demonstrate that they've already built an audience. And the third thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that there are some 5-star reviews so that you can feel confident and good about being on a show like that. Now, you're probably thinking, do I have time to do that? And here's my point of view. When you are considering being a guest on a show, the greatest compliment you can pay to a host is to see, hear, and celebrate their show before you ask to be a guest. And when you do that, you can go to iTunes and find an episode that's about a subject matter that you're personally interested in, because all smart entrepreneurs want to learn more to earn more. So find an episode that you're personally interested in, and then go ahead and post a 5-star review right then and there and say, I loved your episode on brand archetypes and what they mean for my business. And I noticed your pitch at the podcast that you were looking for guests who could talk about marketing in this particular way. I'm bringing, you can say something like, let me back up. I listened to the show, I loved it, and think I have value to add to the conversation. Not only do I feel that way, but I've also posted a 5-star review so that you can get more listeners and more downloads. And the reason I'm reaching out to you is I think I have something to say that could add to that conversation. My name is, my expertise is, and as a guest on your show, I can talk about A, B, and C and what that means to your listeners and what they can do about it. If you do that kind of an approach where you see, hear, and celebrate the host before you make a request of your own, you will find that hosts will be very responsive. And I do this all the time. I book myself on 2 or more shows every single week. And invariably, hosts say to me, your pitch stood out. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for reviewing the show. Thank you for sharing a pitch that's specific to what it is that I love to talk about. You really stand apart. Can't wait to have you on the program. If I could train thousands and thousands of people around the world to do for themselves what I do for myself, every single one of you will be empowered to speak up on more of the right stages and have a much bigger audience for your message, and also welcome the outcome from that, which is when you're asked, where can our listeners go to learn more about you? You're going to have a pithy, powerful reply that you're going to sell the sizzle in that steak, and the listeners are going to rush right over. And you know what? That's new business. So those are just a few tips I wanted to share about podcast guesting and how it can be of benefit to you, especially if you want to grow your influence, grow your impact, and grow your income without having to leave your house. Are there any questions that are coming up from the group based on what I've shared so far, or any ahas, or anyone going to join the podcast guest collaboration site on Facebook today?
Can I join your podcast?
Say that one more time.
Can I join your podcast and give you a 5-star review?
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you, Art. You know, I have a YouTube channel, okay, and my show is called the Learn More, Earn More Show. And okay, you can go to, you can just search my name on YouTube, Nancy Juetten, and my show will come right up. And if you find a show that you like, I know I did a show with Bettina about a year ago, and I've interviewed LinkedIn experts. I've interviewed Steve Sims, The Magic of Making Things Happen. I've interviewed I'm being considered to have Jack Canfield on my show. I'm very excited
Wow.
about that. But if you watch the show and you get value from it, go ahead and say, thanks, I love the show. And here's what I loved about it.
I'm going to do, this is great content. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. And so what do I have coming up? I am leading something called the Podcast Visibility Live Lab from within my Facebook group, and it starts on September 13th. And during the Podcast Visibility Live Lab, I'm going to walk you through my 6P system so that you can prepare, position, prioritize, pitch, ping pong, and most importantly, profit every time you take to the microphone. So each day there's going to be bite-sized learning and bite-sized homework, and each day is going to build on the day that came before. And when you are complete with this challenge, you will be media ready, you will be media savvy, you will be on message, and more to the point, you will have potentially booked yourself on several shows based on what it is I inspire you to take action to achieve. And when you get those kinds of results in record time, can you just imagine what would happen if you were to make podcast guesting a well-formed habit? So if you are excited about the opportunity to participate in this high value yet complimentary training, Bettina has a link that she's posted in the chat. It's PVLL-Bettina. That stands for Podcast Visibility Live Lab. And you can just sign up and you'll be invited to join me in the Facebook group. We are a community of 2,237 service providers, podcast guests, experts, speakers, and authors who want to raise our voice, make our impact, and make money every step of the way. You will make new friends there. You will create new collaborations there. And every Monday I do a live show where I share some kind of content that will support you in learning more, earning more, and being glad to be a member. So I am thrilled to have the opportunity to be here with you today. I hope that you've gotten some value with this little snippet of content that I shared with you today. I know Amy is someone who has been through my training and had some good outcomes from that. And also Bettina Carey has accomplished amazing things as a result of what she's learned. And so I hope that you will come and invite friends. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Yes, we're going to take some questions now from the audience. And I just wanted to say, last year when COVID hit, I had only ever participated in Zoom calls as a participant. I'd never actually produced or done anything in Zoom. And when I started this journey, I went right to Nancy's group. I've been a participant. It's one of the only groups that I actually follow and participate in. And if you go and watch some of my older videos that are from dating back to It's a Small World After All, right around March or April or so of 2020, you'll see the evolution. And in fact, it was taking Nancy's advice that got me my own radio show. And so that's also airing on Twitch TV. And without Aunt Nancy's help, I think I would have been bumbling around in the dark and never seen a path so clear as day as I do with working with Nancy. Never mind the fact that I've known her for 20 years. I've taken lots of her advice. It ends up leading to generating revenue, which of course is the ultimate goal. And of course, you'll meet a lot of new people that are going to be your friends. And I know it's a great group. It's all vetted out. Nancy does a really incredible job at making sure that only the best, the cream rising to the top, is part of her world. So let's take.
Thank you. That's just wonderful.
You're welcome. Thank you, Nancy.
So the name of the site that you're wanting to go to, Pierre, if you scroll up 1, 2, 3 comments in the chat, it's getknowngetpaid.com/PVLL-Bettina.
Okay.
And that stands for Podcast Visibility Live Lab Bettina. So if you click on that, it will take you to the registration page,
Okay.
where you can sign up for free.
Mhm.
And all I ask, and I'm just, all the good stuff happens when you're live, so we're going to go live every day starting September 13th at 11 o'clock Pacific. And I'll be streaming live by Zoom into the group. And also the people in the group can also watch. but Zoom makes it so much more fun because you can see everybody's faces and you can connect more readily with people and know whether or not your message is landing. And
Yes, and I think this podcast guesting is the stairway to heaven, right? So if your voice is your moneymaker and you are not on a stage called podcast guesting, you're missing out. I'm just saying. And Nancy's the gal for you. I'm telling you.
well, and can I say one other thing, and just to edify you for a moment? One of the things that I teach people is that you can speak to your own community, you can speak on podcasts, and you can speak on the stages that other people own. And it's such an honor for me to be invited to come to the We Empower You group today by invitation to share valuable content that hopefully will edify and make you all better. But Bettina practices this very same advice. She has her own show. She comes on live every week with We Empower You, and then she gets herself booked on other shows. And when you work all three legs of the stool, the visibility stool, if you have your own people, you have the stages of other people, and you have the podcasts that reach people that you've never met that can allow you to scale up and grow, you ultimately control your upside because you always have an opportunity to raise your voice and make your impact. And you are someone who has been a student of these methods. You are deploying these methods. You're creating amazing success for yourself and paving the path for everyone who follows you to succeed as well. So we don't just take this advice, we eat it for lunch.
We certainly do. Thank you so much. So let's open up the lines here and see who we've got out there who has a question. I'm looking straight at Rita because Rita has her own show, but you're probably not doing as much as you could if you were working towards podcast guesting.
So yeah, you know what? Yes, I've had my own show, and I think everything we get to evaluate where things are working for us or what works best for us. I love podcasting. I'm actually on several shows, but I love the fact that you have something that's collaborative so that this way people can connect. I mean, what's great is I don't always know where people are finding me. It's a referral type thing. And so they're like, love you, heard about you. I don't know where they heard about me. And I'm able to get on that. But I think I like that more of being able to share with an audience, and because then I think we get to add value in a more unique way, especially when it's collaborative. So I want to say thank you so much, Nancy. The fact that you shared that resource, that is invaluable, really. So
it's my pleasure. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I want to say something else. Congratulations to you that you have a show. Yeah. And just curious, how many episodes do you have? And
so it was something that I was learning about and doing. So I think I only have, I don't know, probably 30 or something like that.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm fairly new. I'm fairly new and exploring. So I'm all about exploring new avenues and new venues. Yeah.
So let me just offer this as an eye opener or perspective shifter. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to ask you a question. You have a show. You have 30 episodes. As a podcast host, do you notice how many downloads you get and how many reviews you welcome, and whether or not you're getting the cool guests that you want to reach up to, or whether you're picking the low-hanging fruit just to get it going?
Right. And that is something that I've been looking into, that I'm evaluating more of, because I'm learning more of that as I go. So
here's
so important. Mm-hmm.
So here's my question or my comment.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a show of your own, whether it's a YouTube show or something on iTunes or just a live show that you do every week in your Facebook group, A+, amen, all that's great. It's a long distance run to build an audience for that show.
Yes.
If you want to accelerate the growth of your audience, one of the smartest things you can do is be a guest on more established shows. Yes. Because what will happen is you'll be a guest. Is your expertise wine, wealth, and women?
Actually, my expertise that it's no secret to be wealthy. The only secret is that it's no secret. So I educate what wealthy people do and what smart money people know. So I'm an educator.
I love this. Okay. Yep. So any show about financial empowerment, personal finance is going to be hot for you. So if you were to identify 8 aspirational shows
Mhm.
that have some star quality, and you could pitch yourself to the hosts of those shows as
Mhm.
someone who's got value to add,
Yeah.
you're going to get lifted up to their audience.
Yes.
You and that host are going to have an awesome conversation. The listening audience is going to get so much value. And when the microphone goes silent, you and this host are going to be like new best friends forever. And you're going to say, oh my God, that was such an amazing conversation. There's so much more we have to say. Gee, could you be a guest on my show too?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's some other way that we can collaborate in service to each other's goals. In my experience, what happens when the microphone goes silent is where the real magic happens, because you realize, so then after the show airs, you're going to be excited that the show aired because it was a mover and shaker show you were on.
Yep.
So you're going to share that out on social media, and you're going to tag your host.
Absolutely.
Your host is going to appreciate that because she wants more downloads and more ears and more people paying attention to her show. So she's going to notice not only did you show up for the show, but you did your part to beat the drum about the show after the fact.
Of course.
And other hosts notice you as a show guest who demonstrates that you care about seeing it through all the way to the end. It's not,
Yeah.
see you later, we're done. It's, how did I promote the show after the fact?
Mhm.
You'll find that other hosts will say, wow, she really sees things through. Not only do I like what she talked about, but I want her on my show also. And then you'll get more inquiries, and
Yeah.
you'll get to do cooler conversations. Because here's one of the things that guests tend to forget is that hosts want to have awesome conversations, and hosts have a choice. And either you have something juicy and amazing and provocative to say, or you have an index finger that's going for the delete key, and that's all she wrote. So what are you going to do to make yourself the one that they choose? And I think you have a huge opportunity to talk about money well beyond what you're doing now, and that it could escalate your star on the rise and create even more advocacy and championship for your mission.
I agree. I think it's, one of the cool things that I always like doing is in case you missed it, right? Because sometimes people have schedules. So it doesn't end right there. So that's super important. I love that you shared that detail. I agree. I'm excited about it. Thank you so much for bringing this information, Nancy.
Oh, it's my
And-
pleasure, Rita. I wish you every success. And, who doesn't want to talk about money these days? It seems like that is the hot topic.
It is.
Yeah.
And one thing I will jump in and say is that, Nancy, your suggestion that you leave a 5-star review, Rita and I have been on each other's shows. We could leave each other 5-star reviews, and all of you who participate in We Empower You could leave Rita, myself. I know Sally's show is getting rebooted. Those of us who have shows, we could use your 5-star reviews. So price admission today for me, Nancy, is that I will go out and get some 5-star reviews from folks who've been on my show. And also the other thing, and you kind of mentioned it in other realms, and you may not have mentioned it here, is that then you bring somebody with you. So when the mic closes down, basically you're also going to recommend to others to go ahead and suggest, hey, you just interviewed me. You could interview Rita. Rita's yada, 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 yada. So we can leverage each other up.
Yeah, if we could lift each other up as we're climbing, the world would be such a beautiful place. And in the Broadcast Your Brilliance Bootcamp that I teach and lead, I always encourage people to go the extra mile for the host, go the extra mile for themselves. But when the microphone goes silent and you're having small talk and the host is complimenting you about what a great job you did, and you've fallen in love with each other because you covered important topics that were heartfelt and important, you're going to discover that you can say something like, well, I'm just curious, what topics do you want to cover in the coming weeks? Because I wonder if I might make a referral to someone who would be able to meet the need. And she'll say, well, we're really looking for someone that can talk about debt management and how to get out of your car lease, or I don't know what. And but whatever it is, you'll say, what do you know? I know someone. And not only that, he's a best-selling author. He's someone who already speaks up quite a bit on shows, and he's really funny besides May I Make an Introduction. So if you and the We Empower You community decide to start making podcast guesting a priority, every time you're on a show, reach back to the community that you're a part of and think who you could recommend, because this good karma that you put forth for your friends and colleagues, it always comes back to you in ways beyond which you had no idea how good it could be. And it just puts more good energy in the universe. And gosh, for what we're dealing with these days, don't we need more good energy in the universe?
Yeah,
Right?
we do. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your question, Rita. I'm going to just ask one more time if there's any remaining questions, and we'll open it up to others. Open up your mic if you have a question. And
I
just
have a question.
Yoli?
Yes. How long ago did you start, and what was the beginning of your career? I love what you said about I think it was 5 P's that you had in that conversation. You said it was prepare, precision, prioritize, pitch, and profit. I don't know if I missed
Pitch
one.
and ping pong. Don't forget ping pong.
What is the ping pong?
Ping
I love
pong
ping pong, but
I kind of touched on that. It's what you say when the host says, what can our listeners or viewers do to take a closer step in your direction? That's when you say, well, I want them to run and not walk to donotoutliveyyourmoney.com, because this is going to share with you how you can avoid that fate. And so to answer your other question, my background, I think I came out of the womb with a pen in one hand and a megaphone in the other. I've been promoting people all my life. I owned a public relations agency for a number of years and represented Fran Bigelow of Fran's Chocolates, Seattle Chocolate Company, Olympic Hot Tub Company, the Seattle Design Center, and a whole bunch of community banks. When the recession happened, my PR firm fell apart in a heartbeat, and I took a dare from a friend and I wrote a book called Bye Bye Boring Bio, and it actually put me on the map and made me somewhat slightly famous.
Okay.
And I started speaking up about how to transform your boring bio from wallpaper to wow to attract clients now. And it sort of helped me build this multiple 6-figure business based on solving a very specific problem. And then when the pandemic hit and we're all shut down, I thought, shoot, I have to read. I wrote the first edition of Bye Bye Boring Bio. There, Amy's in it. I wrote it in 2009, then I wrote the second edition in 2010, and in 2020, I redid it to serve the virtual speaking world, and I relaunched all of my products, programs, and services to focus on virtual speaking and podcast guesting. And I'm happy to tell you that once a publicist, always a publicist. These skills, like, they run through my veins. I just know what to say and how to say it. And that's why I'm able to be such a value to my clients, because some people struggle. What's my angle? How should I approach this? I've been a publicist for very big names and big names on the rise, and I know how to help you angle a story so that you can be chosen. And I can also coach you on getting ready to rock the mic so that when you take the mic, you come home with what you want, which is leads, clients, connections, cash, notoriety. And the part of this that I was not expecting, and I'm just being incredibly transparent here, you know, once a pitcher, always a pitcher. I'm always pitching. Aren't we always selling?
Mhm.
So in the beginning, it feels like you're like pushing a rock up a hill. But when your presence is excellent, when you practice your podcast guesting, when you show up as the best human being that you know how to be, and you stand and deliver with heart and smarts and moxie, people will hear you. They will notice you. And what you will not expect, which is the best part of all, is that people start coming to you and saying, will you please be a guest on my show? Will you please be a guest faculty expert in my mastermind? Will you come and do something for our professional association? And all of a sudden you're holding court, choosing opportunities that only came to you because you had the courage and the moxie to speak up in the first place. And that's what's been happening. Pierre has a question.
First of all, I guess I think Bettina is the one that's more familiar with me. Lee is my trainer, my coach. But it takes me a long time to really grasp the information that I've been getting. But not only that, to make it my own, because my biggest problem is I cannot do anything that if I'm not comfortable with it, if I don't really, in a nutshell, I can't share anything with anybody if I feel that they're not, you know, they're not gonna get much out of it, or I'm just doing it for the money. Are you with me? And that's why one of the things that I've learned in real estate is that don't look at the money. The money will come if you take care of the people, okay? Because people got eyes; they will see the money sign in your forehead. So that's what I always try to keep. Like the money will come, like Zig Ziglar used to say. If you serve the people, automatically you will be served. Okay, the scriptures say, like Jesus said. First of all, I remember I was trying to find out what really I want to do. Then one pastor tell me why you want to do this, and it takes me a couple of years to find out why I want to do what I want to do. And one day I was reading the scripture, bang, it comes out. When Jesus was talking to the disciple, he told them what to do is to serve the people. And if you serve the people, you will be served.
I agree completely. And in this particular context, when you reach out to a host of a show, it needs to be a show that's aligned with what you're interested in.
Yes.
And the conversation you want to be a part of. The reason people have you on their program is not to sell your goodies.
That's right.
The reason they have you on their program is they want to have a conversation, a dialogue about something about which you have value to add that the host is interested in.
That's right.
And if you have the opportunity to have that conversation and the rapport is excellent and the content is of value and the connection, most importantly, feels genuine and real, people who are listening, if they are inspired by what was shared, they will want to take another card. And that's your job, to make it easy for them to take the next step. And so there you have it.
The next thing I want to say, Bettina, you're gonna be happy for me. I get my first 2 this week.
Congratulations, Pierre. I got a little birdie in my ear named Lee Romanoff was whispering to me.
I was talking to Lee. I talked to Lee for about 45 minutes. If Lee give you 45 minutes to talk, you know she was interested. So
Yeah.
I talked to her and everything. She told me just to fill out the form and everything, and they're gonna be on Empower next
At the
week.
summit. Oh, fantastic. I love that. Thank
Okay.
you so much for your question and comments there, Pierre. Our final question, if there is one, I'm going to give over to Daniel Swaggy, who's out of Uganda. I met Daniel through the Inspire conference that served about 1,600 a few weeks ago. And I don't even know what time it is in Uganda, but I'm sure it's pretty late there. Daniel, can you unmute and say hello to Nancy? Let's see if we can get.
Hello, hello everyone. It's actually 1:47 a.m. in Uganda. I just wanted to attend to this podcast, and I'm loving the discussion so far. I'm learning a lot, and I appreciate for
thank you so much for
organizers
for staying up or waking up to come to this show today. There's going to be a lot more folks from Uganda coming on as time goes by, because we had about 56 contact us for mentoring. So thank you, Nancy, so much for being here with us today. This was just a beautiful opportunity for us to, as colleagues and friends, to collaborate. And I cannot wait to have you back and interview on my podcast as well.
Oh,
and I wanted to just go back to your final thoughts and just restating the podcast Visibility Live Lab link and any kind of wrap that you might have.
Well, I always like to conclude with something that sometimes gets unnoticed, which is if you want to be seen, heard, celebrated, and ultimately compensated, it all starts with your mindset. And I'd like you to believe and behave as if the most important host was going to call you tomorrow. And I want you to let that belief compel you to show up as the rock star you are, starting today with the positive expectation. I want you to believe that your message deserves a much wider audience and your business is worthy of sales beyond expectations. And the best time to start doing that is to decide today that you're going to make it happen. Your mindset really does set the course of what's going to happen for you. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you want to learn how to become the podcast dream guest the top hosts can't wait to book and take your empowerment back, even while we're sheltering in place, the Podcast Visibility Live Lab coming up on September 13th is the place to be. It's virtual. It starts at 11 o'clock a.m. every single day. Replays will be available throughout the entire event. And the place to go to claim your place is getknowngetpaid.com/PVLL-Bettina. Run and don't walk. And just by show of hands, because I'm feeling rather bold, who's going to show up and be a part of it? I see some hands, and that makes me happy. All right. Well, Bettina, thank you so much for having me. I know you have another speaker coming too, right?
Yes, I do. And I'm just going to make some brief announcements, but from the bottom of my heart, Nancy, thank you so very much. What you're doing in the world to get our voices heard is magic. And you are a gifted woman and you give so much. I have been the beneficiary of a lot of your giving, and I cannot thank you enough. I feel like I'm a made woman.
Well, and I see this beautiful comment from Amy. I just looked up relocation podcasts and have noted 7 to research so far. So this is if I had a parting thought, this would be it. Go for the right shows and then source the courage to reach up to the ambitious shows, because who you will become when you reach up to those shows will reflect into every ounce of your being, into every way that you do your work, and you will just welcome cooler and even better opportunities. Reach up to the ambitious shows. You will not be disappointed.
Thank you
So much. And next up is our commercial for this hour, and I will play that right now. It's about our summit.
Ask most anyone if they feel empowered in all areas of their life. If they're honest, they'll likely say no. Hi, I'm Bettina Carey, and I may be only 4'9½", but what I do is big. Dream big, break through, and connect to powerful people like you. And what I'm doing is inspiring and empowering others to break through, shatter their revenue glass ceiling. And I'm here to tell you that the We Empower You community is where you're going to want to be. It's a community, it's a membership, it's a movement. And what we're doing is helping you to start and run your online business without doing a thing. We're helping you to find angel investors that you don't have to pay back, to run your own membership program where you don't have to do the work, and so much more. We are here to empower you at the We Empower You Global Summit and the WeEmpowerYourLife.com. Visit us on the web at WeEmpowerYourLife.com or text the word Bettina to 555-888. We'll see you at the summit.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It was great to have you. You feel free to stay. I'm going to introduce our next speaker, but first I wanted to just piggyback on some comments about the summit. So we have nearly 24 speakers registered for the upcoming We Empower You Global Virtual Summit. It's next Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's a 12-hour marathon day. We have mentoring sessions. We have 2 breakout sessions. We're going to be covering topics in 5 major areas of life. That's business, leadership, love, life, and health. And we want you there. And what we've done is we've got 500 sponsored tickets right now, and there's one there just for you. So go to WeEmpowerYourLife.com, click on the Summit Tickets tab, and grab your free ticket. I am so excited to be welcoming back another one of our wonderful guest speakers, at the summit, and also he's been speaking the last 3 weeks with us here, and that is Master Nigel Henry. So Master Nigel Henry is going to unmute himself here just shortly. Let me go ahead and give him an official welcome. His topic today also is using your voice as your moneymaker. And Master Nigel is typically working directly one-on-one behind the scenes with me, the chief, or the ambitious, highly gifted, extraordinary, out-of-the-box individual who has desires or intentions of being known as the number one or the greatest or the disruptor in my industry or profession while making a massive beneficial change in the world. His specific service for which he is highly compensated is engaging me, his client, in a proprietary form of thinking methodology called activation conversations. This typically results in my experiencing sudden, massive explosions in my mastery performance and in my capacity for sourcing and contributing insane amounts of value at ludicrous speeds. Master Nigel's activation conversations, which we're going to have right here, covers the full gamut of my world, including my life's calling, global impact, business performance, health, relationships, and personal lifestyle. Join us now as we dive deep into how we can activate some very deep levels of awareness and also awaken some of our very own superpowers and abilities, including using your voice as your moneymaker. Go ahead and unmute. Welcome, Master Nigel.
Greetings, everyone. Can you hear me?
Greetings.
I was working for a large company, GE Capital, as a consultant in fixing the Y2K bug. My actual professional career was software engineering. And I now know that I was a magical kind of person, a bit like what Nancy said, how she was born with a megaphone and she was born a promoter. And I think I was born like a magician. I just seemed to know how to work magic. So I was working some magic at GE. And as a result, I finished my project way early. It was to fix the Y2K bug before the year 2000. And we kind of finished in like September 1999. And they're like, wow, how did you do that? And I said, how do I do my magic? And I couldn't figure out how I did my magic. So I said, you know what? Instead of explaining it in a PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to do a stage presentation. So I put on a live stage play in the IT department of the tech department, starring all the members of the staff that are involved. And the name of the play was called Y2K Was Okay. And it was based in the year September 2000. So I took them into the future and played some James Brown because I feel good, because everything was working out. And then I brought them back from the future, month by month, into the present. And on the way back, I stopped to acknowledge a few people who got promoted as a result of their participation post the bug fix, and promoted and promoted. And so when I was finished, they just leapt on their feet like, we've never seen anything like this. How did you get all these people involved? And I was like, it's magic, okay? So they said, listen, we're doing this thing called Six Sigma and these quality control things, and we think you'd be a great fit. So I'd like to offer you a job as a director in the IT department. And I was like, ooh, finally, promotion. And just as I was about to accept it, I heard my inner voice say, well done, Nigel. You have fixed the bug in the mechanical computer. Now go and fix the bug in the human computers. I'm like, who said that? And I don't know if anyone here has an inner voice that's really loud. Mine is extreme. I see you, Amy. I hear you. Mine is very loud, and it's so loud that it was like I was in a movie and the person that was talking to me in front of me faded out and my inner voice just got so loud. It's like, okay, Nigel, now it's time for you to go and debug humans. And so then they said, Mr. Henry, hello, Mr. Henry, do you want the offer? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I have a new offer. I literally had to reject their offer right there on the spot. I said, I've been called to a greater work. So I quit my tech job and set up my own company and went out into the world to debug humans. And let's just say, fast forward, 5 months later, I'm working with some homeless people in the city of Oakland. And I'm thinking, now I think humans are supposed to work. That was my thought. Just like software, when I'm looking at a computer, my first thought is this thing was designed to work. So to the extent that it acting weird, the screen is blinking, is not coming on, there must be a bug in the software. So I met this homeless guy and I'm like, dude, hey, what's your goal in life? I'm like, huh? I'm like, dude, what do you want to be in life? And what's great? What's new? Oh man, life is hard. Why don't you just come buy a home and set up your future? Man, I just don't know. I don't have any money and I don't know how. I'm like, this is what I tend to do when the TV isn't working. You know this old trick called, you whack the TV on the top and the picture clears up, right? Old school. I'm like, dude, are you okay? Let me have a look in the hood there. There's something not right. The software is on the blink, as we say in England. It's on the blink. It's blinking. So my initial thought is this must be a bug in the software because that's not what he's supposed to say. So anyway, this went on for 5 months. 5 months. I've been talking to people on the street and in different scenarios, and they all said the same thing. Whenever I said, let's go, they said this phrase, I don't have any money and I don't know how. I don't have any money, I don't know how. And I was hearing this for 5 months. And what I was doing, I was like, oh, let me help you. I have money and I know how. So I was helping these people, thought I was helping them. And within about 5 months, I started becoming broke. I'm like, this is not working. And I had the gift of frustration. Has anyone here had the gift of frustration where you've been putting effort in and it's just not working and you're not quitting, but you're feeling that frustration, it's just rising. And I've learned that it's a gift. It's a necessary emotion for causing breakthrough. So in one of these states of frustration, I fell asleep in front of my computer, and I found myself having a dream that I was in the Matrix. Has anyone here seen the Matrix, the movie from back? And there's a scene in the Matrix where Morpheus is typing a message to Neo on his computer screen. And that was happening to me. My computer screen was typing a message and it said, I don't have any money. I don't know how. I don't have any money. It just kept on repeating. And then I heard the voices again saying, show him the virus, show him the virus. I'm like, what is this virus? And why is this computer screen typing in front of me? And it says, I don't have any money. I don't know how. If you write that phrase down, anyone has a piece of paper, just write it down. I don't have any money. Then new line, I don't know how. And so the voice is saying, show him the virus. So I'm like, okay, what virus? Which virus? What word? And then they started flashing the word don't. So for all those who are writing, just circle the word don't. And they said, Nigel, that's the virus. I'm like, virus? And then said, take out the virus. But by the way, if you read the sentence without the virus word, don't, you'll get, I have money and I know how. Woo! Whoa, that's weird. So in that moment, I actually woke up from the dream and realized I had a eureka moment. I had discovered the virus that makes human beings act weird, downgrade, and just weird. And I was like, I ran down the street. I think I ran down the street. I was like, I found the bug. It's called a eureka moment. I found the bug that was interfering with humans. And I thought it was the word don't. So let's just pause there. Fast forward, I found out that this word, which is actually 2 words. Let me see if Amy can hear me. Amy, can you unmute? Because I see you. You're a talker. You look like a talker. Can you unmute?
How'd you know?
Ah. So, Amy, the word don't is 2 words. Can you see which 2 words it is?
Do not.
Correct. So I spoke to an angel friend of mine. I was saying, hey, I found the virus that makes humans talk weird. And she said, no, Nigel, the word don't isn't the virus. It's the word not. I'm like, oh. So that was the second discovery. There's a word called not that is invisible to human mind and eyes and ears. And when it attaches itself to power words, it creates these weird words called don't, can't, need, want, and it makes the CPU, mine, act weird. And so with the discovery, I went back onto the streets to help my peoples. And I said, hey, man, why don't you go? What do you want to do? And he goes, I would love to have a house. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. He said, Nigel, I think we done told you I don't have any money and I don't know how. And I laughed at last. I'm like, ha, you have a virus that makes you talk funny. And they're like, this brother is not quite here. I'm like, no, man, I'm serious. I said, say it again. So I had him write it down. I don't know, just like you guys did. I don't know how. And then I said to the guy, which one of those words is the virus? You know what he said? Don't. I'm like, yes, you know. And he said, so take it out, just like I said. And he said, I have money. I know how. And then he goes, no, I don't. And I'm, whoa. That's when I had my second breakthrough, that this guy is addicted to this virus word. Yes, is that a sign to speak there, Amy? You can speak. What are you thinking? Amy?
It's like, it's a deflection of, it's like, oh no, I can't have that. No, how dare I?
Well, it's interesting. I didn't know all this. I was just observing, and that's a great point. So I didn't know it was deflection at the time. All I know is that I said, look, there's the virus, and he took it out and like, I have money. And then within milliseconds, he's like, no, I don't. And then I realized he put it back in. But the revelation that came was that he thinks he's describing his reality. And I saw that he was speaking his reality. And so he was looking in his wallet and saying, look, Nigel, I can see in my wallet that it's empty. Therefore, I don't have any money. And Nigel's saying, no, the reason why your wallet is empty is because you said you don't have any money about 100 times, and therefore it's empty. And just because you said you had money, it needs time to overlay, to recover from that negative limiting speaking that you've been doing. So that was my major discovery, that human beings are speaking, using the virus word, they're actually speaking the exact thing that they don't want and manifesting it. And so I created a product called virus. I found that this word not infects a lot of words, and I created a list of virus infected words, which I'm just going to post in the chat so that everyone can have access to these words. And here it is. I'm just going to post it in the chat and you can see it for yourself. It's also my way of connecting with you because it's going to require your email. So where's the chat? I lost my chat. Where's my chat? Okay, here we are. Chat. And the virus words, there's about 27 of them. And they interfere with the thought process of human beings. And they're quite popular. And they are fundamentally limiting. And they cause 2 things. Number one, they limit and they cause separation, and they cause amnesia and blindness. Well, there you go. Amnesia and blindness, meaning I can't see and I can't remember. And then secondly, I'm limiting. So I think in Bettina's work, she talks about the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is actually caused by speaking these limiting thoughts. And people are stuck and they are blind to what's keeping them. What's holding you back? You heard that question. I don't know. Do you hear the word don't in there? I don't know. Interesting. So when I sum all of this up, I found out that the net of it, and can I share my screen now? Let me check. Yes, I can. The net, can you guys see this? Can anyone hear me?
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, can you guys see the screen here?
Yes, we can.
Is when the mind is infected with virus, it creates 4 different mindsets. And since I have Amy who's speaking, Amy, can you see that? Can you read this? Where's Amy? Can you
Yeah.
unmute? Yes.
Hold on.
So, yeah.
The top flourishing top
1%.
1%.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah, read that.
I am effortlessly attracting great health, relationships, and wealth opportunities. I am allowing massive beneficial contributions to flow through me. I am experiencing absolute time freedom and exponential cash flow. I am being a teacher and role model for others.
There you go. Now, this is what I was thinking when I was listening to Nancy. She was modeling this thing, teaching she was talking about this cash flow through her process. And she's talking about massive, going on a podcast to contribute benefit to the audience and the host. And her process sounds effortless. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, I gotta go and learn, go and get an MBA and then do this. No, follow my process. And so it turns out there's only a few people on the planet, 1%, who are operating this way. And when you look at their contribution, it's exponential. It's a massive result in a short period of time. And the word that describes them is just wow. When you've experienced someone like a Nancy or Bettina, like, whoa, dude. We call it a miracle, by the way. That's awesome. Massive result, short period of time. Okay, then. Let's do the next level mindset. Which one is this? Can you read this for me, Amy? Or even better, Amy, if you really want to do some magic, can you call someone else to read it?
Yes, I will call someone else to read it. Let's see. Now I'm on my my mobile, unfortunately, because, well, that's how it worked out for me today. So let me see. Part of my finger scrolling across the screen.
Use your
How about
intuition. Yeah.
Aggie Clark? Is Aggie Clark available?
Angel Aggie?
I am available.
Again? Yes, she was here last week. Go ahead, Angel.
All right, I will read it. I am working hard and using my limited time to increase my health, relationships, contributions, and cash flow.
Would you like to offer any comments at all about that or anything you've heard so far?
Well, as I remember last time, I had shared that I felt that this is the segment that I'm operating out of, and at the top side of it, working to get into the flourishing, or at least working to feel like I'm in the flourishing. Maybe I am, and maybe I'm just not acknowledging it yet. So I think this is it's a moving. I mean, that what I like about this segment is it actually is called something where you're moving up. So you're actively moving towards the positive.
Now, may I assist Angel Aggie now in having an incremental move on this call right now? Yes?
Yes.
You open to that? The first thing I'd like to say, Angel Aggie, is that you were born here. You came out the womb here, and everything below this line is a downgrade. Literally, like, what happened to Aggie? She downgraded, man. And so to it's not that we're going up, is you're returning home. Mm-hmm. So the question is, Aggie, what happened to you? How did you start operating down here? Can you give any explanation for that?
Oh, I think I lost my way a little bit. I didn't realize I was born in flourishing.
You forgot.
And I did.
You say, yeah, you lost your memory.
Mhm.
You've done forgotten who you are and who made you. You see that? That's the first thing. And by the way, Aggie, it's a pandemic. Lots of people have lost their minds. They're out of their minds. Have you heard this phrase? These people are out of their minds. You were born with this mindset. This is your birthright. And it just seems like only 1% of the population has remembered, period. And so they are, you said two words, I fell and I forgot. Why do people fall? Aggie, why would someone fall? They're moving along and they fall over. What could cause that? Any answers would do. Wrong answers, preferably. Let's see.
You know, I think it's back to forgetting. If you don't know where you are, you may not even know that you fell.
Well, you know, people fell when they weren't paying attention and they were blind. They tripped up, Aggie. That's what it is. They tripped up and then they fell. You can trip up and still not fall if you're paying attention. But if you're blind, like, oh my God, what happened? And then if the thing that tripped you up also caused you to lose memory, then it's like you didn't even know that you fell. You just thought, well, I just found myself here, Nigel. I don't know how I got here. I just found myself here. I didn't know that I was somewhere else because you lost your memory. So Nigel found out that this virus word causes amnesia and blindness. And the more virus words I allow into my mind is the blinder I become and the more memory I lose. And if anyone knows anything about humans, is when you lose memory, you lose performance. What are your thoughts on that, Aggie?
Oh, I think that makes sense. When, you know, if you trip and fall and you forget where you are, you might be so confused when you try to get up that you don't even know which direction is up. And so now, getting the help to find that direction is fantastic.
Now, here's some words now. This is where I'm going to help Aggie. Now, one of the most, what's the word? Mischievous virus words in the list, Aggie, is the word Y-O-U. It actually is a carrier of the virus. So what does the word you mean, Aggie? If you were to just define it, Y-O-U equals, how would you say this?
Oh, to me, it means it's a group. It's an undefined group.
Yeah.
And it also means that I'm not owning the word. I'm assigning it to the undefined group out there, sort of the they.
It's like that. In fact, it's in the family of they, we, us, them, you. And I'll tell you what it means. It means not I. That's what it means, Aggie, not I.
Yeah.
So when I say you, notice my finger is going out and it means not me. So if I was to replace the word you with I, how would that sound? Like when now, if Aggie was to remain in the first person, how would that sound? Just tell me what it would sound like.
It's you own, well, I own it then. If I say I, then I own it. I fell, I got confused, and I am striving to get back to where I belong and where I started my journey from.
Where was that? Where did Aggie start from?
In wow.
I was born with the flourishing mindset, and somehow I fell over and forgot where I came from, who I am, and started operating in the striving mode, thinking it was just who I was. No, Nigel's here to remind you that you were born at the top and you belong at the top. And that's why there's this drive to get to the top. It's not to get there, it's because to return to base. So, Aggie, that's the drive that's going on. I want to go back home, the prodigal son. I know this place doesn't feel right. I just got to find my way. Now, if only I could see my way. So Aggie, the thing that's blinding Aggie from seeing her way is her language. I found out the virus words causes blindness. So when I stop using them, my sight clears up and my memory works better. And the mind's job is to download spiritual wisdom. All things is known in the spiritual realm or in the heart, but when my mind is cluttered up with virus, it comes in, first of all, it doesn't flow very well. And secondly, when it does get in there, I can't see. What are your thoughts on that? I'm thinking. This is my favorite. What are you thinking?
I can see how the words blind me,
There you go.
because I'm not
Beep. Now
I'm not
there's the
owning
root. Whoa,
the
whoa,
word.
whoa. The root of all evil is not.
Oh, is
So
not. What,
now speak without saying the word not. Just say the same thing. Now self-correct. Go ahead.
well, I want to own. I am owning the positive words to
There it, well,
move from
pos-
striving to flourishing.
positive is also a virus word, by the way.
Oh, is it
means,
really?
yeah, it means not negative, and negative means not positive. So the virus word NOT creates the illusion of duality.
And there is
Good
no
and bad. Yeah, illusion. People think there's two sides to everything. No, there's only one. It's called unity, but the virus word creates this illusion of duality. And it's also the same virus in the computer that creates digital. At the root of all computer language is the word NOT. It's called binary logic. Binary means two. Carry on, Ivy, keep talking. So I'm going to give you a distinction. Ready?
Okay.
Light comes out of my mouth. Just say that.
Light comes out of my mouth.
When I'm speaking, I'm shining light. So shine some light on the topic, Aggie. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What were
I
you saying?
feel like getting back to where I belong is actually easier than finding some place that I've never been.
Amen. Say more on that. That was a beautiful piece of enlightenment there. Now, you said feeling versus knowing. Do you feel it or do you know it? Which one are you speaking from? Your feeling center or your knowing center?
I'm speaking from my knowing center.
So now say it again. I know in my heart with absolute certainty, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead.
I know in my heart with absolute certainty that returning to the wow, the place of wow, is easier than finding wow if I had never been there.
Amen. Does anyone think she sounds wise? Just unmute and just make a comment if you think Sally's beginning to sound kind of like a guru. She's kind of getting wiser by the minute. Well, yeah, you got to unmute though. Anthony, you got to speak, man. This is not a visual game. This is an audio game. Talk to me. What are you thinking?
Yes, I would agree with that.
What are you agreeing with?
That she is making excellent progress.
Back home. Notice she's not moving towards, she's returning. And her wisdom is coming through. And all Nigel's doing is having her consciously remove virus words from her speech. What do you think about that, Anthony?
I think it's challenging because we use
Challenges
those
on the
words.
list.
Right. So that, yeah, there it is right there. It makes it difficult to avoid those words.
On there as well, difficult. It's another virus word.
I need to have the bleeper every time I say something.
No, you need to pay attention to your words. The thing is, what Anthony's doing is speaking. And up until he met Nigel, he was speaking without awareness of the power of his words. He just thought, I'm just talking, Nigel. Can you just let me finish? No, dude, you're creating some reality that's limiting the environment with your superpowers, by the way. You know, I'd call Anthony a super spreader. Woo, Anthony, are you a super spreader?
I like to think so, but in a good way, hopefully.
Well, good is a virus word. Keep talking. Whoa.
That would be the goal. That'd be the goal, to spread good. You know, definitely.
No, but good is a virus word, Anthony. I'm just saying.
Is that right? Oh,
it's on the list. Oh my gosh. This
Where's
is what I found out, my people.
I need an email to me. I need the list.
You say need. I'm gonna put it's in the chat. Just click on the link in the chat. It's the vamp.
Is that
Anthony,
right? Let's see here.
Here's the good news, the great news. So the antidote to good and bad is just great. There is no opposite to it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Move from good to great, Anthony, and you'll be safe. Yeah. So now what I was going to say, I lost my train of thought, but Anthony, let me ask Anthony. Anthony, here's a personal question. Are you an angel?
Yes.
Yes. And all angels have greatness in their heart. I was going to say goodness, but you know, it's a virus word. So would you prefer good or great, Anthony?
Well, I'd like to say great.
Yes. Naming yourself after your manufacturer is a very good move. Okay. So your creator is great. Therefore, Anthony's great. Anthony, you were born with greatness in your heart. Okay. And your intention is always to cause people to have a great experience, especially on a podcast. And the only problem is the words matter, you see? And so what I found out, the angels, the very people on this call, have the greatest intention, but the language, the words they're using is interfering with their intention, hence the frustration.
Right.
I see Amy thinking. Amy's thinking. Let that out, Amy. Let it out. Let's hear that thought. What are you thinking? Unmute yourself.
This is good. This is good. This is great.
It's great. Yes. So say
This
more
is
about the greatness.
Great.
What's so great about it?
Oh, I just like feels juicy.
Yes. Now the thing about an angel, we're not here to take in juicy. We're here to share juicy. You get paid when you share that with someone like Aggie was doing. Aggie was gifting her thoughts on loudspeaker. And that's why Anthony was like, ooh, this lady's bad. Ooh, see, because she was putting it out. She was modeling the Nancy recommendation, podcasting. Literally, she was having a podcast with Nigel right now. Yes. What else were you thinking there, Amy? Your thoughts are worth money. Thoughts on loudspeaker equals cash flow. Go ahead.
Woo woo. I'm loving this, like, you know, bringing the awareness of, or the reminder, the refreshing of where we come from, that
first person.
That I am born in flourishing mode. And this journey, somewhere along the way we fall.
I
fall.
Yes.
It's okay because I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from.
Keep talking.
It's because I want to support other people that in my world.
Do you say want? Sorry, just pointing out another virus word. Want.
Okay.
It's just a virus word. Carry on.
Yes.
Now, let me just say about virus words. The root of all virus word is the word not. And what it does, it, like HIV and corona and all of these other viruses, it pollutes good things and create them into carriers. Like the word do is a quite innocent and powerful word. I'm a doer, man. Let's get this done. Let's just do it. And then I add this invisible word not to it and becomes don't. Let's don't it. Don't do that. That's the first word a baby remembers hearing to limit the child. The baby's like, I'm Superman. I can climb on the sink and jump off and go on top of the fridge and jump. Yee! Don't do that. Don't. No. And so the baby's dealing with this virus word. What is this? Where I come from in heaven, we can do all things. I can climb on the fridge if I want and jump off. Don't do that. Uh-oh. And somehow, if you smack the baby and say the word don't, that's how the virus enters their system. And they're traumatized by this word don't forever. Anyway, back to the thing. Want is a virus. All angels are born with the inherent capacity for making a difference. They don't want to make a difference. They make a difference. If I plucked Anthony and just dropped him in a room and said, Anthony, don't say anything, the room would change. It's not something he wants to do. He's a change angel. Things change when he's in the house. Now, when he starts speaking, it accelerates it and cash starts to flow. The voice is the money maker, Anthony. So that's why you got to talk, man. If you want to make some money, get on a podcast and talk. You understand what I'm saying, brother? Talk.
That's
yes,
right.
Amy was saying something. I disrupted her, to bless her. Go ahead, Amy, finish off. And then we're going to go back to Aggie, and then we're going to get someone to read the surviving where the pandemic is. Normal is pandemic, by the way.
Ooh.
Yes, finish, Amy.
Yeah,
you were thinking.
Here, yes.
Amy's thinking. Amy, the way to get all those thoughts out of your mouth is just to say the phrase, I'm thinking, and sound intellectual at it.
Thinking. I'm
And then
so excited to reflect these rememberings
Amen.
into my tribe.
Amen. Now you're talking. See, let me guess. Amy, are you an angel? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You know what? All angels are messengers and they are givers at the same time. So anytime they remember something good or remember something great, I've got to edit that song. Tell me something great, right? Who's that? She wants to share. In other words, share the greatness. That's your job, Amy. Hear some greatness and spread it. Get on a podcast. This is where Nancy's message is like, music to my ear. We need more angels on more podcasts. Okay. So yes, so Amy, your little secret, the thing that's missing for you is just let your thoughts flow. Don't process them before you speak. Just let them out. And it's called free flow, and let it flow. And you'll just see with time, your thoughts will just be liquid coming out your mouth. Like the spirit will just take over your voice and like, oh, Amy's available. So we're just going to talk through her and magic. And that's how your flow happens. But if you edit too much, you'll be here all day. Now,
it's because I was trying to edit myself with the corrections in place already.
Let the virus come out. It will get cleaner with practice. Just let it out. So back to Angel Aggie. She was the wise one that was triggering all these problems. Angel Aggie, you know they are causing trouble, right? With all this talking of wisdom and talking about coming back to your home of the land of flourishing. What were you saying there? Just remind us of your wisdom in the first person.
Well, I want to share that I am great at causing trouble.
Excellent. All angels are troublemakers, disruptors for the good of the people. I'm a paid professional disruptor, by the way. Keep talking.
And
yes,
I find it easier to return home, to return to where I came from, than to find it and having never been there. So I feel like it's comfortable coming home.
Now, I have to say this, Angel Aggie, I would advise against comfort. Comfort has been used as, let's just say, turbulence has been misunderstood. It's a deeper topic, but to avoid going off into a deeper land, could you call someone from the Angel Aggie to read the surviving the pandemic thing that's taken over the world?
I will. Since everyone who's been talking, their name starts with A, I guess we'll have to go to Art.
Wow, that's Art. You've been called to the stage.
Art sent a message to me that he was leaving, but he's still on there. So give him one second and see if he replies. Otherwise, perhaps we can go to Daniel in Uganda. Otherwise,
Daniel, my friend, come to me. Come, let's just hear your voice. Daniel, can you hear me? Is Daniel there?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm still on.
Can you see this, Daniel?
Yes, I am. I'm seeing your screen.
Great. I'd like you to read this one. Read this one. Go ahead.
Which one?
The 75% surviving.
Surviving?
Yeah.
No more surviving. I'm not dead yet. Still struggling, treading water, spending my time trying to maintain my health, relationships, and cash flow so that I can stay alive.
What is that? What are you thinking about that, Daniel? Any thought? Just put whatever you're thinking on loudspeaker.
Well, it kind of speaks to me because a social entrepreneur, and having been someone that is working, or being someone that is working with children of incarcerated parents in Uganda is quite hard. And then at some point I was like, no, I cannot do this. And then from
Now,
your presentation, I realized that was a virus.
Yes, it is a virus. Now, but I would like you to keep talking, but I'd like to bring a graduate from the FMC. By the way, in the FMC, I'm just going to do a quick commercial. Financial Miracle Challenge. Next one is in September. And I will put the thing in the link in the chat in a minute. But what we do is we create the condition to have people experience this again in a 5-day intense pressured environment. We find that if you put someone under enough pressure, they either explode or they go vertical. And in the Financial Miracle Challenge, we actually recreate this thing so that people work a financial miracle, massive result in a short period of time in 5 days. And so one of our graduates is here, Angel Troy. And I'd like to put him to work by having beep with his mute off as Daniel is talking. I just want to hear some strong beeps so that Daniel starts hearing the virus words that's coming out of his mouth. He'll just hear a beep. Okay, Daniel, say more. What were you saying now, Daniel? Talk to me. You were saying.
Yeah, well, I am not dead yet, still struggling, treading water, spending my time trying to maintain my health, relationships, and cash flow so that I can stay alive. Actually, that speaks to me because at one point I thought I could not I could not continue with what I was meant to do. Then from your presentation, I realized the can't part of it is a virus. And then I'm like, I'm not dead yet. Yes, I'm not dead. I'm still struggling. I'm treading the waters, spending my time trying to maintain my health, relationships, and cash flow. So that means if I'm alive, it means I can still push on, I can still stay positive, and I can still achieve my ambitions, my goals, and my mission.
Now, that's what we're told. Do you like motivational speakers, Daniel?
Well, sometimes I listen to them, but not so often.
Why not? Why don't you listen to them, man? They're always saying positive stuff.
Well, I really realized that at some point, most of these motivations are not really working for me because they are not actually what I'm facing and what I'm going through. And sometimes I believe that what worked for someone else doesn't really necessarily work for me. So I want to face life as me, experience things as me, and go through them as me.
Oh, that's interesting because most motivational speakers, their favorite word is you. You can do this. You are awesome. You. They never say I, interestingly enough. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is 80%, these two combined, 80% of the world. This is the condition of Johnny on the street who has a job. Their income is fixed. And I just wanted to draw attention to what this graph means. This graph is talking about the acceleration of money. Did you hear that, Amy? Acceleration of money. If it's horizontal, it means that the acceleration is constant. It's not changing over time. If it's like this, that means the money was accelerating at a certain speed and it speeded up here and it's getting faster. The speed of the money is changing over time. And this is where the speed of money is changing so fast that we can't keep track of the speed. The speed is changing quickly. This is the birthright, Angel Aggie, that your money is supposed to be moving so fast that you can't keep up with it. You might as well just say you live in abundance because, oh God, I've lost track. Can you imagine Bill Gates trying to keep track of his money? It's moving too quickly. That's the birthright of all angels. Amy, you got to unmute when you're speaking, lady. We need to hear your voice. Amy, what are you thinking?
I was thinking, fuck yeah.
Okay, now you're talking English. All right. Now, this is what's going on. In most in America, the majority of people are here. And the word that they use more often than any other word is this. And they talk about what they cannot do. And they're like, hello, how you doing, man? Well, I'm surviving. What do you mean surviving? I'm grateful that I lived for another day. With the pandemic, I survived the pandemic. I survived. Everything's about survival. And we got the pandemic survival kit. Survival is so far from home, right? That it should be illegal to speak any language that involves surviving, because the more I speak about survival is the more I create it. And then when I share my survival conversation, hey man, how you doing with the corona, man? Oh man, I survived corona. You too? Me too. And now they're sharing survival stories, which is spreading the virus conversation. Can't, don't, not, want, need, have to. We're trying hard, man. This is what happens when people speak virus words without awareness. This mindset just creates and it keeps building. And so when I said to that person, man, you're creating your own reality. Repeat after me, I have money. He said, no, I don't. And he's like, no, I have to join with my crowd. My people don't have any money, so I don't have any money. I don't want to be different. It's lonely at the top. Aggies, there's not a lot of people like you, Angel Aggie. You're in a minority. What do you think about that?
I'm used to that.
Well, I don't think we should get used to it. This is what I found out. With elevation comes awareness, but this other thing happens as well there. Power increases at the top. Have you noticed that one person has more leverage than 90% in America with their power? So Angel Aggie, you don't have to get used to it. You have power. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I can bring more people into this group. And so it's not lonely at the top anymore.
Thank you.
Even though I said not, which I wasn't supposed to do.
Well, what matters is not whether you said it, it's whether you're aware that you said it. And guess what? You are aware. And with awareness comes the choice of changing it. So most people are speaking without any awareness, therefore they never correct. But Aggie is aware and she says, whoop, I said not, let me resend that. I'm choosing to bring people with me. So awareness reveals choice. That is the beauty of virus awareness. All of a sudden, I see more choices. Guess what? The more aware I am is the more vertical I become. The more vertical I am is the more choices I see. Do you notice you have a ton of choices?
I do have a ton of choices and I love choices.
But you know what these people say? I don't have any choices. I have to. That's their favorite word. It's hard. It's difficult. I can't. We have to do it this way now because someone told us to do it that way. We don't have any choices.
Do they have fewer choices, or are they not aware of the many choices that they have? Now, and you're helping us to be more aware of all the choices that I have.
Notice how Aggie moved from student to master teacher in one conversation. So now that you returned home to your master teacher mode, can you resend that message as the teacher versus the student?
As the teacher?
I think, if you say, I think, it would really make you sound as thoughtful as you really are.
I think that people in the normal surviving mode have as many choices as the people in the great and the wow modes, and they don't realize it. And
the only reason why they don't, they're blind to it. The virus word makes them blind to their choices. And people believe what they see. And the virus words causes blindness and amnesia. Not only do they become blind to the choices around them, they've forgotten that there are choices. Blindness and amnesia, man. Deadly. The most deadly thing on earth is blindness and amnesia. And it turns out, my discovery, Nobel Peace Prize, please, that it's caused by a single virus word. Not that word, when spoken in the mind of a child, causes the child to go, huh, I don't get that. I can't understand, I can't see that. You see what I'm saying? No, I don't see it. And the more they say they don't see it, is the more, Amy, can you see what I'm saying? Can you hear that language? Look at Amy. Come on, Amy, speak English.
Oh God, that's so awesome. It's
All
so true too. Like kids are like, I can do anything. Then they're like, no, and they're like, huh?
No, you can't. You have to say can't.
Can't.
Or you can't do that, Johnny. And Johnny, yes, I can. No, you can't. And then there's a battle because Johnny came from the land of heaven where all things are possible, fresh from heaven. And as far as Johnny's concerned, like, what are you guys talking about? Everything is possible.
To some parents who may have forgotten.
Of course, because they were. So here's how the 1% stay that way. They engage in social distancing. Social distancing is called do not mix your children with these guys. They send them to a different school, different neighborhood, different zip code, because they know that this pandemic thing is transferred through communication. They're like, no, you will not talk like that, Johnny, not in this house. You see, and they protect the voice and the ears of the children. And we call it in England, they call it classes. This is called the working class. This is called the middle class. This is called the ruling classes. All angels were designed to rule the earth and to spread greatness with their voice. And to an extent that an angel's on this call, and they will, Nigel, you know, it's hard right now. I'm not ready. Whoa, dude, you must have lost your mind, right? You must have done, you've forgotten who you are and who made you. Okay, so I'm so glad that Bettina, in her wisdom, has decided to bring the angels together to bring us back home. And every presenter that she has presented while I've met her is speaking the same message. Get your message out, meaning, I think it's, who's the author, the writer that was on last week?
Patrick.
Huh?
Patrick
was like, get your words on paper, on book, get it out. Then this week we have the angel Nancy. Get your voice together, get on platforms and get your word out and spread the great news and become friends with people who have platforms. And Nigel's saying now, while you're doing that, choose the words very carefully because some words cause blindness. Well, some words cause blindness, period. Be aware of those words and choose to other words. And so that's why I pointed the list out. Now, finally, my voice is my moneymaker. Amy, this is my gift to you. Oh, no, I'm going to give it to Daniel because Daniel, where are you? He's the furthest distance. Where's Dan? Are you still here, Daniel? Can you unmute? Where's Daniel? Daniel? No? All right.
Yep, I'm still around, yeah.
Daniel, can you repeat after me? You ready?
Yep, yeah.
My voice is my moneymaker.
My voice is my moneymaker.
Can you repeat that 6 times?
My voice is my moneymaker. That makes it 2 times. My voice is my moneymaker. My voice is my moneymaker. My voice is my moneymaker. My voice is my moneymaker.
Very great. Next question for you. What does Daniel think about that?
Well, I think it's I think it's right.
What's right?
When I speak up, it depends on what I speak out. And whatever I speak out will either make the money for me or throw me somewhere else. So it's all about how creative I am in presenting my ideas to the right people.
Maybe.
And
Daniel,
right
let me disrupt
audience.
you. Professional disruption occurring now. Daniel, let me tell you something. Every dollar in your bank account got there by your voice. every single dollar that you have, or what's the currency of Uganda?
Uganda shillings.
Shilling. Every shilling in your bank account arrived there because your voice put it there. I know that a lot of people think their hands made the money. Nigel, I work for a living. I use my hands. I'm like, no, your voice makes the money. The labor is optional. Daniel, I know that's very disruptive. I hope it's disturbing your world, man. Talk to me.
No, well, logically that's right, because like my works can be my voice at the same time.
Well, what if it
like
isn't,
what I'm
Daniel?
doing?
Let's just say you paint houses for a living, right? You paint houses, okay? Now I go up to a painter.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, man, your voice is your money maker. And like, Nigel, that's nice, but I actually paint for a living. I have this bucket of paint here. When I finish painting this wall, I get paid, okay? I'm like, no, the voice is the money maker. The painting is like optional, actually. Like, what is this guy talking about? So I know I'm speaking to you because like in Africa and in lots of countries, there's this thing called labor, and we're taught to work hard. And I assure you at the top, these people get paid to speak. And at the bottom, they've been brainwashed to work. There it is. Working, where does it say that? Working hard, trying to maintain a living. Got to go and get a job and work hard. No, it's about the voice. And that's why all angels on this call are being encouraged to speak message. But I just want to deal with Daniel because I know that Daniel gets it, but I know that the people around him may not agree with him. And I'd like to activate his superpower so that when he gets off this call, he changes the region that he's in, not just the country. Daniel, talk to me, brother. Talk to me. Get that money maker working. Yes. You're thinking.
Yeah, like what I'm thinking is that if I do something that's a voice, even though it's not necessarily me speaking with my mouth, but my work can speak for itself.
It cannot speak. That's the illusion. That's what I want to tell you. A lot of artists are great artists. An artist paints this beautiful mural in the background here, and he's like, man, look at my work. It speaks for itself. No, it does not. I speak for my work, or Sotheby's speaks for my work. And the guy at Sotheby's or Christie's, and they go, now, do I hear 1 million for this painting? I went to an exhibition for Van Gogh recently here in Miami. And you know how much his painting's going for? 80 million. The brother is dead. When he was painting, he was broke. But now his painting is going for 80 million, one of those little flower things. And you know why? Because Sotheby's or Christie's, one of those people, they're saying, oh, do I have 20 million for this? Somebody's talking for his work. And at these places called auction houses, they use lots of zeros when they're talking. So the work doesn't speak. I speak for my work. My book, I can write a book, which I have, but until I talk about that book on my podcast, ain't nothing going on but the rent. Yes, Daniel, you were saying. Come on, Daniel, talk to me, man. I'm running out of time here.
Well, now, you having said that, then I need to know how I can speak for my work such that it makes such that my voice makes the money for me. Because
All right, Daniel. Excellent question. So, in other words, you're interested and curious, right? Because have you been told otherwise, Daniel, that it's not your? Has anyone ever told you it's your voice that makes all your money?
No, it's the first time I'm hearing that.
Do you hear that, Amy? We got work to do here with the voice. We got to get on some more podcasts. Where's Nancy? She is absolutely right. We got to get this message out. That is why you got to attend the summit, right? Because what is the theme of the summit, Aggie? Angel Aggie, what is the theme of our summit?
Our voice is our moneymaker. My voice,
Like
my
my
moneymaker.
voice, exactly. And the whole summit will be about that. I'll be speaking, of course, teaching on literally using the voice to make money. Since the pandemic, it has been a blessing for me. I know, because before I thought my networking got the money to me, but then I realized it's my voice that got the money. And so I was like, well, that means as long as I can talk and I have one of these things, I can make money. So literally, I never leave my house anymore. And I'm on the phone and I talk and the phone goes bing, Venmo account. Oh, money arrived. Bing, Chase, money arrived. Nigel, what do you do? Nobody knows what I do. I talk. I use my voice to make money. I talk. And that's how all sales are done. There is only one department in every corporation, every organization. There's only one department that makes money. Angel Aggie, please tell me what that department's called, because you are a corporate lady. You know the score. Go ahead.
Is the sales department?
Oh, are you asking or teaching again? She's always acting like she's not the master teacher.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. So, but I think that's the answer you're looking for.
Well, no, I don't want you to tell me what I want. I want to tell me what you like to say. What is your answer? I'd like to hear the disagreement, Angel Aggie. You told me you were a troublemaker. You're supposed to disrupt me.
I am a troublemaker. Well, I think everybody sells. So regardless of what department you're in, you are selling, whether it's yourself, your ideas, what your department does for the sales department, or for what the IT department is selling, why you should embrace the upgrade, and that every department, when they're speaking, is
Angel
making
Aggie,
money for the company.
Have you been teaching this new upgraded philosophy to anyone? Because you know the rest of us are still on the old school. They thought it was just one department that sells. The upgraded thinking is all departments sell. Unless somebody's selling, no money is moving. That's the upgrade from Angel Aggie. Now the question is she keeping that to herself? That's what I want to know. Who else knows this upgraded version? Because I just got upgraded here. Angel Aggie, are you keeping it to yourself? Does everyone else know that all departments are supposed to sell, not just the sales department?
In the organizations I've been in, I saw that everybody, and I helped people.
Hoped. We don't do hope.
Well, I'm looking back thinking, did I or didn't I? And there's lots of virus words in there, but
Angel Aggie,
I help people sell themselves.
I'd like you to say that, let you know that the majority of people are still in the dark ages on this topic. And the only reason why they're in the dark is because the angel is quiet. The angel with the message, Aggie, has been quiet. She's not on enough podcasts.
No, I'm not. I am not sharing that on a podcast.
Why? Because that's going to disrupt, right? It's going to upgrade everybody. And that's what's happening, Angel Aggie. People have become uncomfortable with upgrade. You know that upgrade is a very uncomfortable experience, and people would prefer to remain comfortable in darkness and suffering than to deal with the discomfort, the turbulence of going to cruising altitude.
I know that well from dealing with my own technology upgrades. And I put them off until I absolutely have to embrace them.
So there's a distinction here. Whatever I'm avoiding is the access to my greatness. So whatever I'm putting off is the thing that gets me to flourishing in no time. So that's one of the things that I teach, is that in the Financial Miracle Challenge, we actually make all the participants extremely uncomfortable. The money is in the discomfort. No money, no new change is in the comfort zone. All the wealth is outside of the comfort zone. So the comfort zone is vertical. You got to go higher. And every time anyone goes higher, planes start trembling when they start going higher. Rockets go through hell when they're trying to go to space. So all angels must elevate their game and deal with the turbulence. Nigel, this is scary what you're saying. Yes, it's very disruptive. Yes, keep the thrust on until you get to cruising. Yes, Angel Aggie, your job is to make yourself uncomfortable and then invite others to join you. Because your wisdom changes the game. We're all sellers. You know, there's departments like, we're IT, man. I don't even have to talk. I just have to sit in front of my computer. No, you don't. You got to sell why your IT department exists to the finance people so that they can put you in the budget. Huh? I got to talk? Yes, that's right. But I don't speak good English. I don't care. Open your mouth and communicate. But be aware of the virus threats. Okay. So let me just end with a commercial so I can sell something. Okay. All angels were designed to flourish. All the DNA is still on board. Nothing has gone wrong. All that's happening is amnesia and blindness has occurred. And another name for that is unconsciousness. That's the definition. Amnesia and blindness equals unconscious, right? So the thing is, I found out that the root cause of unconsciousness is language. And in language, there's one word, NOT, that when it's blended with other words, it causes the blindness to increase and the mind just downgrades to survive. It will keep going downgrade until it finds a place where it can just function blindly. So in the survival level, everyone is blind. It's the blind leading the blind. And that's why they like leaders. And a leader is usually in the striving level, and they just see a little bit better. And so they like leaders because at least that person seems like they know where they're going. Follow the leader, follow the leader. And, and angels are actually beyond leadership. Angels are the 1%. Aggie, that's why it's lonely, because you're rare. God had some specials. Many are called them. Few were chosen. The few is the 1% that was set aside to be different from the masses and was given the original blueprint, the DNA of flourishing, so that in the event of a pandemic, which there is, this angel comes out of the blue and says, this way, follow my light. Let me shine and show the way. That is what the angels are for. Now is the time for the angels to wake up. So my life purpose is activating and unleashing the change angels, those who know that they were put on this earth for special assignment. This is the time for the special people to awaken, activate, and unleash. And the summit that Bettina has put together is specifically for that purpose. And how do we measure an angel's effectiveness is the cash flow pattern. How's the angel doing? Don't talk to her. Look at her cash flow. Look at the cash flow. And we go, oh, flat line, surviving. That just means language is wrong. The language is creating the finance. So let's change the vocabulary, the language, the voice of the angel, and measure the cash flow, and that will help the angel to see what's going on. So I do that in the FMC, the Financial Miracle Challenge. That's literally what we do for 5 days. We put angels under pressure, demand a miracle out of them, and they start talking, but Nigel, I don't have it. And all the virus comes out when they're under pressure. You see them like, oh, look at that. And then we have them clean it up and then continue. And then we pressure them again like, oh, and listen, angel, you don't get to exit. You get to go vertical. Convert that pressure into vertical takeoff, not lateral movement, no exit, vertical, okay? I hope that makes sense. Let me just pause there. Okay, I'll get back to Bettina, thank you.
Wow, this has just been a beautiful intro to the summit and what's gonna happen at the summit, which will be a intro to the FMC, the Financial Miracle Challenge. And so for those that are watching live out there, or maybe afterwards on Facebook, how can folks get a hold of you, Master Nigel, and register either for the FMC or just to have a call with you for that matter?
All right, the easiest way is to just get the VAMP. I'm going to greatnessactivation.com/VAMP. And that when you get, it will send you the list of viruses, but it will ask for your number, and then we're in connection right there. And I'll be sending you stuff and you can talk to me. The next thing is that, well, Nigel, I'd like to do this FMC thing. So we just say greatnessactivation.com/FMC, Financial Miracle Challenge. And that when you got to apply for it, because we're only letting in angels who have a mission calling, because it's for people who are serious. Miracles require focus and attention. And so we interview you. We just schedule an interview and see if it's a great fit for the financial miracle. But otherwise, the virus words, everyone on the planet is required to have it. And it's mandatory for any angel that's speaking, especially on the platform. So go to greatnessactivation.com/that. Okay? Hopefully that helps.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, everybody. A round of applause for Master Nigel Henry. Wow. How fantastic. So I just wanted to close here today. You've been watching the We Empower You Global Virtual Summit coming up this next Wednesday, but this is the We Empower You weekly meeting. We do this 52 weeks out of the year. And if you want to join us, go to WeEmpowerYourLife.com, click on the calendar tab and join us for one of our weekly meetings. Next week is this summit. So let me share with you some details that you can find on WeEmpowerYourLife.com. This is our wonderful website that Lee Romanoff has put together for us. And you're going to want to invest in your time. The cost is zero. We want everybody and anybody who needs what we've got to come to the summit. So it's from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. And we're going to cover topics in business, leadership, love, life, and health arenas. And the complimentary ticket can be gotten here under the calendar, under the summit tickets tab. That's go to WeEmpowerYourLife.com, click on the summit tickets tab. It's been great to have each and every one of you here today. I'm so grateful to have you in my life, and we'll look forward to having you next week. Bye for now, everybody. See you at the summit.